Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. Let's continue playing some Diablo. I've bumped up the character to level 71 and also finished most of Nightmare. I've still yet to kill Bale in Act 5. I think we can try to do it right now. We'll just go through what I've been changing in the equipment section. Actually had some luck just leveling up and managed to find some runes. You can see perhaps a ghoul rune, dole, fall, and I've yet to smash the soul stone in Act 4, so that's gonna give us something as well. And I've actually crafted myself a couple of rune words as well. These are very basic, but they are very good to have in the beginning of a ladder. Or if you're just playing by yourself, you can always keep them and give them to new characters when you create a new one. And this rune word is for most of the characters, at least the ones that rely on spell casting, this is the best in slot for a long time for a lot of different characters, so it's very sought after. If you find any 4-socketed swords during leveling up, you should keep it, and preferably you would have a 4-socket crystal sword. I think at least the crystal sword is a little bit faster in the attack speed. Here in the user interface you can see it says fast attack speed on both of the swords. But what we can see in the user interface is not always the full truth. Anyway, I've made it in a broadsword and I was very lucky with the rolls. This particular rune word, it will vary in the bonus to faster cast rate, and that enables your character to cast spells faster. And you can see if I cast this burst of speed, it's pretty quick. If I remove the sword, which has fast cast rate, and the armor, which also has a little bit of fast cast rate, so it's a little bit of a different. This does not really help this character too much. The trap assassins or the trap placements are actually reliant on your attack speed and mainly the main hand weapons attack speed. So this is the pace which I'm laying down traps as of now. It's pretty quick, but I'm also using the burst of speed to increase my attack speed. And let's just finish looking at the spirit rune word. So this will vary in faster cast rate. It will go from, I think it's 25 up to 35, so it's a perfect roll on the faster cast rate. That is the main roll to look out for. It's basically what sets the main value of this item. But it also varies in the bonus to mana. This one has 102 plus. And I think that one will vary between 89 and 112. It's a little bit above average. And lastly, it will vary in the magic absorb. So This is an 8, which is a max roll, so that's very lucky as well. I think it goes down to 3. And magic attacks are a little bit special. They are not covered by the standard elemental resistances. It's like separate kind of damage. It's not physical, it's not elemental, it's magic. So 8 absorb of magic will actually help out a little bit. And I managed to find 2 set items, at least 2 set items set items in the same set. And this is this Segon's Complete Steel is what the set is called. And I found the helmet and the gloves, and that will also give me a little bit of a bonus into attack speed, so that helps with the placement speed for traps. And we also get a set bonus that is 10 life stolen per hit. And let's see, I'll just strike a few enemies. You can see that this red whirling animation appears. So a little bit of the damage that I cause in physical attacks, I will also leech and bring my own health back up. But it's not so interesting if you're just placing traps. And the helm has a bonus of some attack rating based on character level, so that helps to increase your chance of hitting the enemies. It's also a very melee specific attribute, and the whole Zygon set is actually made for melee characters mainly. But often times you can find some kind of set bonus that will help you out, just for now or even in the long run. Let's see, we also found a couple of boots, and I think these are pretty good to have in a low level setting at least. They have some strength bonus, dexterity bonus, all resistance, which is very nice, and also a little bit of faster round walk, and it's a nice factor as well. Alright, I think I have a couple of more items I want to look at in the stash. So one thing that's good to know also is that the Spirit Rune word can be made in shields. So for example, this Paladin shield here is 4 open sockets. It's the same runes, so it's a Tal, Thul, Ort and Amn. And it gives similar stat bonuses, but as you may remember, the runes give a little bit different bonuses depending on what kind of item it's socked into. So in a weapon, an Ort rune will give 1 to 50 lightning damage, which you can see here. But in the shield it would instead give lightning resist. So that's very good actually. New characters are always low in resistance, and these Paladin shields, they also come with some stats just on their own. Can perhaps compare a couple of them. So you can see this one, it has all resistances 25, just as a natural bonus on the item, plus 34 all resistances, and plus 12 all resistances. And you can see these also have a little bit of different quality. This is an ethereal item. It says it cannot be repaired, so any durability that this item has, if it goes down, it it will stay down. And this is a superior version of a protector shield. So it comes with a little bit of increased durability. It can also have increased defense. But these are for Paladin only, so it's not so interesting for this character. But I always, try to save a couple of them. You never know when you want to start a new Paladin. Paladins are very versatile. It's a pretty good first pick to start with. So always try to keep some of the good Paladin's items available for when I will create one. And as I said when I started this character, I wanted to go with a bow Amazon, but I think that would be kind of tedious to start out with. You're either dependent on your weapon damage to be able to clear the areas, or your skills if you're using more of a cold or fire arrow for your Amazon. But I managed to find a very cool item, which we will identify. And this bow is a low-level bow. It's called Wizendraw or Wizendraw. You can see it has 20 increased attack speed. It fires magic arrows, and that means that you won't necessarily need to have arrows on your characters to actually use the bow. You can see I get the warning because I have no arrows, but I can still shoot the bow. And what makes this bow so good? If you look at the attributes, you can find a -30 to enemy cold resistance. And this resistance actually varies from -20 to -35. So roll is decent. It's just 5% from perfect. And let me just quickly check if there's anything else on it that varies. Yeah, so we have two more varied attributes, and it's attack rating and the enhanced damage. The attack rating goes from 50 to 100, so 95, that's very good. And the enhanced damage goes from 70 to 80, so that's right in the middle. But I'm pretty happy with the -30 enemy cold resistance, and I'll keep it. If it was a perfect Wizendraw, I'm sure it would be worth something. I'm not sure as of now. It's quite a useful item. There's not too many of the items available in the game that actually gives this minus to enemy resistances. So we'll put that to good use in the future. And we're also going to create a new rune word. It requires a 2-socketed shield, and the shale rune that we found, and then eth rune. And it's supposed to be shale first. You can see we add the 20 faster block rate, and when the rune word is completed, we get all of the bonuses. And this shield, it helps us regenerate mana. It's quite high in block chance. It gives 25 to all resistances, and canopy frozen, which is nice. Frozen is a state your character will be in if it's hit by any character with a cold attack. It slows you down quite a bit, so that will affect everything from attack speed to movement speed, and for my character the speed which I place traps. So being immune to that debuff is very handy. And last but not least, we also get 50 extra gold from monsters. So it helps to increase the gold we can find. And it also has 25 better chance of getting magic items. And this is a key attribute in this game. If you can, I would say you would like to stack up the better chance of getting magical items as high as you can. It's not that easy in the beginning. You will also have to weigh it against your need for any kind of resistances, as plus to skills, etc., damage, weapons. But I've also managed to find a couple of more items which has this magic find attribute. The belt I'm using right now, it has 51% extra chance for gold. 51% extra gold from monsters. And these boots that I found in the beginning, you can find, or not only in the beginning, but throughout the game, these rare boots, they can come with magic find, extra gold, faster run walk, faster hit recovery, and they can also have up to 3 different kind of resists. And these pair have 26 to cold resistance and 32 plus to poison resistance. So it's something. It's not great, but it's something. And let's see. Yeah, we also found this amulet which has 34 extra chance of getting a magical item. We'll equip it for now and just have a quick look in the character screen. On this arrow which says advanced stats, you can actually see a full summary of the bonuses that you are wearing or that you inherit from your items. So all in all, I have a regenerate mana bonus of 30%. Take it, that magic damage is reduced by 3%. I have a 17% life stolen per hit. 159 extra gold from monsters, 87% chance of getting magical items, 30% increased attack speed, 33% faster run walk, 80 faster hit recovery. And faster hit recovery, it's basically how fast I can recover from a strike or spell. 40% faster block rate makes me be able to block faster. And the actual game mechanics of these attributes is also interesting. And I think by the end of this stream we can take a quick look at it, or else we do it in the beginning of the next one. Just to explain, how this actually applies to the character in game. We have 60% faster cast rate, so that improves our speed of casting spells. 8 magic absorb and cannot be frozen. Our resists in Nightmare it's getting better. The poison resistance is up to 75, which is the maximum you can have, unless you have items that allow you to go even further. Right now the lightning and fire resistance is a little bit low, and this is only Nightmare. If we go to Hell, it will decrease even more. So a lot of things that has happened since the last stream. I've gone through the Nightmare difficulty, still have a couple of quests left to do, and managed to find some runes, and also some other items that we can take a quick look at. So these are set items, but I only have a single item of each set as of now. Yeah, and I was very lucky to find these also. They dropped, actually, the gloves and this rune dropped in the Worldstone Keep in Nightmare for me. And the triangle bracers or gloves, they are actually, for a lot of builds, they are the best in slot for your gloves. And that is mainly because it has, well, for the Necromancer character it gives +2 to curses, which is pretty good. And for anyone using it, it also gives 20% faster cast rate, so we can up that even more. And we have a bonus 25% plus to poison skill damage. So that's quite similar to what the bow had. It had a minus to enemy cold resistance. And these gloves instead give a +25 to our own poison skill damage. And for the assassin, that's mainly interesting because you have a skill down in your shadow disciplines tree, which adds a venom to your weapon. And as you can see, it deals poison damage. We can actually put a point in it just to see. If I were to use the venom level 1 right now, I would add 60 to 80 poison damage that's dealt over 0.4 seconds. Makes the weapon go a little bit green. So with 60 to 80, and if I add a 25% bonus, 75 to 100. And how this works is you can actually cast the venom with the gloves active, and we'll get the bonus, which lasts for about 2 minutes exactly, 120 seconds. And you can equip the other gloves after that and retain your bonuses as well as the poison damage applied to your weapon. I think we'll use the Cygars just for now. But the Triangle Claws actually have a cold resist bonus of 30 also. So that's very neat. Alright, let's see. But okay, just remembered, we also have this helmet here. A 2-socket helmet. It can be any kind of 2-socket helmet, so it could be a class-specific helmet as well, like a druid pelt or a barbarian helmet. And if we put these runes in it, let me just double check so I don't mess it up. I was about to mess it up. It's actually Ort first, which gives a 30% lightning resist. And if you add the soul, you get the lore rune word. And this one gives plus to all skills. And a couple of more attributes. The plus to all skills is very good for this kind of character, as it is heavily reliant on the actual damage of a certain skill, in this case the fire traps. So we'll equip that instead and stash the Saigon parts. Let's see, we also found this, we'll just identify it. And it's a different set as well, so we have a few set items now, but only 2 in the same set. Alright, that's a lot of talking for the beginning of a video. I think I've gone through most of what I wanted. Now our shield is not usable anymore, and that's because I've removed something that gave me a little bit of strength bonus. We'll bump that up to 91, and as you can see I still have a few spare points, and I always try to keep a little buffer in case you find something that requires a lot of strength or dexterity and you would like to be able to use it without having to reset your stats and skills. Alright. And I've also upgraded my mercenary a little bit. Found a new weapon, it's not great. It's something. And I think actually we'll go for the Bal kill and see if we can manage. I think we should be able to. If I'm having too much of a trouble, we'll just respec and change our skills around a little bit. And myself, I'm a little bit of a hoarder. Any kind of item that drops, I will, in my mind, see a good use of it. Even though most of the times I'm just gonna put it in the stash and let it be there. And as of now, I'm currently using the Wake of Inferno trap. I think it's a little bit crappy at lower levels because it has a low range, but when you get to spend a few points in it, it has quite a reach. And as long as the enemies stay stationary, at least for moments of time, the trap will pretty much fry them. And I'm also more and more starting to use the Death Sentry, which is actually down the lightning trap portion of the skill tree. What's so good about it is that it will make corpses explode. So if we get a couple of kills here, they will start blowing up. I think I will increase the sound a little bit. And this explosion has an area of effect, and it deals damage equal to 40 to 80% of the corpse life. And I'm pretty sure that is how much the corpse had when it was actually alive. And when you get to the higher levels, the enemies will have quite a lot of health points. So a percentage of that dealt in damage is it's very powerful. And the range of the explosion, as far as I'm aware, is also increasing with the level of the trap. When you get at a high level, even one explosion at the either part of the screen will probably deal damage all over the screen. And you can see I've picked up quite a lot of different socketables, because I know at some point it will be usable, or it will be in high demand this early on a ladder. I'm probably not going to do too much trading, but this one, for example, it's a very good choice to make the rune word Hodo, or Heart of the Oak. And it takes quite a lot of time to learn about which items that are worth picking up and which can actually sell, which other players are actively looking for. And it would be either impossible to keep track of everything unless you have like a personal guy that would let you know everything about the items you find, or if you want to spend your time just searching online for any kind of value of the items. But if you want to do that, you're probably not going to have that much time just playing the game. But as long as we're just starting out and we have like a very empty stash, I think it's okay to just put a lot of things there. And right now I'm pretty high level for this area, so it's expected to be pretty easy. And my character now uses like a more mature strategy for playing. We can pretty easily kill a few mobs, and with the death sentry we can then make the corpse explode. So as long as we can kill at least one or two, we're gonna deal pretty good AoE damage with the explosions. So basically just spot a few enemies, put down some traps, and avoid any damage. And when you're playing by yourself, it's a pretty good idea to, if not at all times, at least most of the time, try to have a safety teleport up at some place nearby in case you should die. It's not so crucial as of now, but each death in Nightmare and Hell difficulty will actually make you lose some experience points, and at higher levels in Hell difficulty this can be very annoying. And the catch is, if you can actually get your corpse back after dying, you will regain a little bit of that lost experience. And if I would die here and not have like a town portal up, I would have to run down and run down without any of my items, which makes me very weak. And I would probably much rather just quit the game and start a new one, and thus my experience will be lost. Ooh. So it seems the magic find is doing its job. I found a set item. So the increased chance of finding magical items. Makes you have a higher chance of getting drops that are either magical, rare, unique, set items, etc. And we'll go to town, just have a look at what we found and get the mercenary back again. Quite an evil laugh from that guy.
Hello.
So, we found Talrasha's Horadric Crest, which is a death mask. And you can see this requires level 66, so that's quite high. At least compared to the other items that we found. Required level 17, required level 9, required level 2 even. And this is a nightmare quality item, the death mask, and it's a set piece of the Talrasha's wrappings. It's a sorceress set, but you can a lot of the times make good use of it on any kind of character. And this particular helmet, it has a mana leech and life leech stolen per hit. So now if I would physically attack any enemy, I would actually also restore mana alongside with the health. But I will keep my plus skill helmet and give this one to the mercenary.
I'll put that to good use.
He does not have any life leech prior, so adding 10% life leech to his attacks will help his survivability vastly. And you can see I'm using a cold aura mercenary. It's not that tough. Probably gonna have to have a little bit of a struggle. Problem with the traps is that you can't really pick what targets they select, so it's a good idea to place them all together like this, so that they will fire at the same time and hopefully also fire the same enemy. So the problem right now is that I need to actually kill one or more to have a corpse available to detonate. And as long as they all just take a little bit of damage each, it's not a very good day for me. But I have spent a couple of skill points into the Shadow Master, so she's a little bit tanky. She can take some damage. And I'm very reliant on that now. So it seems a couple of them will be going down in a second now. So I will place down a Death Sentry. And there we can hear the first explosion. Okay, that was not great, but it's doable. It's gonna be even harder now. But at least they are not fire resistant. I'm still dealing my damage. As you can see, these can take quite some damage. Okay, so the boss of this pack is fire immune.
Salutations. What is it?
And I think if we can manage to single out target, meaning that we can have a single enemy to attack here with the mercenary and traps, I think we could hopefully kill one. As you can see, I can't control the mercenary either, so he pretty much attacks whatever is close to him. And if the mercenary gets too much damage, you can always run, and he should follow. Give you a little bit of a breather. And it seems now we have a couple of them singled out here. No, they're all back. But as you can see, I'm not in any major danger. I can pretty freely move around, so I'm not too worried. It just takes some time. The sad part is that I think the Bale who stands up here, he actually does some kind of healing spells. So if you're not quick enough, it's gonna heal them. Okay, it seems at least some of them are getting low. Try not to lose the mercenary.
Good evening.
That this is the last wave that he sends out before allowing us into the throne. Okay, now we have a good opportunity, I think.
Thanks.
And you really want to avoid, blocking your own portal.
Hello. Evening.
And resurrecting the mercenary is quite costly. I think it costs me about 30,000 gold each time now. increases as the mercenary levels up. So still hard. Try once more getting the mercenary. And if it's too hard, that means we probably will have to do a few more levels or try to find some new items to boost our damage, etc. Okay, there's one very low now. Quite intense.
Good evening.
Yes.
Let's see, we might actually try to use a little bit of our kicks. So casting this venom will also add the poison damage to any kick the assassin can perform. That's quite good actually. Run away, see if we can get the mercenary to follow. No. They're going down, so there's only 4 left at least. A couple of them are low health. And the problem with the fire trap is you can see it shoots like a straight direction, so if the target is moving in any way, it's probably not gonna hit so good. And that's a big reason why I think we'll be resetting our skills for hell difficulty. This works alright as long as they are stationary. As soon as they start to move around, it's not so effective. Here's one pretty low. Trying to single that one out. Okay, so there's 3 left.
The morning comes.
What is it?
Alright, and the quest is updated and it now says kill Bale. And I think as long as we can have him stationary and within the reach of the traps, shouldn't be too hard. And we can see the chance of hitting with the Dragon Talon kick is about 44% now. So it's not great. I'm more equipped to just use the traps. And the assassin's kick damage is actually based on the kind of boots she's wearing. So I'm wearing a Hell type boot and it has 65 to 100 kick damage. Let's see what we found. Rare amulets are always a treat. Well, not always, but they can be pretty good. 2+ war cries, all resistance, and life leech. That's decent. I would probably keep it just in case I create a barbarian. I would put that to good use at some point. Alright, and we'll talk to Tyrell.
I am impressed. You have overcome the greatest challenge this world has ever faced and defeated the last of the Prime. However, we are too late to save the World Stone. Bale's destructive touch has corrupted it completely. Given enough time, the World Stone's energy will drain away and the barriers between the worlds will shatter. The powers of hell will flood into this sanctuary and eradicate your people and everything you've labored to build. Therefore, I must destroy the corrupted World Stone before the powers of hell take root.
And we get a portal to Destruction's End in caps lock. Congratulations, Hyacinth will henceforth be known as Champion Hyacinth. So as you beat the different difficulties, your character will receive this, I don't know, prefix. And if you go into the lobby, you can actually see how far the different characters have gone. So, Patriarch, that means that this character has actually killed Baal in hell, and Matriarch is the similar for the female characters, and this is for softcore. As you can see, this character is a hardcore character, and it's called Destroyer instead. And if you want to progress fast, it's always best to join or create public games. It's a good chance there's at least one or more people will join. But the downside is that you have to split the loot that drops. So it's pretty nice if your character is able to go through the areas by him or herself. That means you will be able to pick up and identify anything that you find and keep it for yourself. You need it. Alright, as you can see now, these are all fire resistant. So my traps won't do much. Still use my feet and kick them. If we get one down, we can start using the corpse explosion trap. And as you can see, it's not very effective.
So dark. Perfect.
And I will actually now reset my skills to be able to go with a different kind of build.
Good day.
We'll just clear this quest first. And now that we've reached a little bit higher level, and we're also reaching into higher level zones, and thus also higher level monsters, we now have at least a chance of finding pretty good items actually. So we'll keep the magic find items that we have on us, and hopefully something nice will drop. I'm pretty happy with the Talrasha mask that we got. It's a decent use for the mercenary. And that's mainly because of the all resistances and the life leech. If we take a quick look at my resistances as of now in the hell difficulty, you can see I'm at -55 in fire, -17 in lightning, and just 19 and 24 in lightning and poison and cold resistance. So I'm very sensitive to lightning and fire damage, and my mercenary is a little bit better equipped. He also gains some all resistance each time he levels up. And one nice update that has been implemented since the game released is that the magic find on your character, for at least for the assassin, it will also apply for your traps.
The order welcomes you.
It seems obvious. This is not how it was. Alright, so we finished the Den of Evil, got a new skill point as a reward, and we also got the possibility to reset our stats and skills. And I'm not sure exactly how I will do it. I think might just keep on playing for a little bit. And something that's very good to be to understand about blocking. As of now I'm using a shield, so I have a chance to block attacks, and it's at 39% right now. So 39% of the incoming attacks I will be able to block with my shield. And that completely removes any kind of damage that I was to be taken. So blocked attack is a negated attack. But the blocking will actually only work, at least, you know, the chance that's presented here, 39%, that will only be true if the character is standing still or walking around. So if I were to run like this, I would have a very low block chance. But if I walk, it's done with the R button. The chance percentage will be the chance to block. But I prefer to be fast on my feet, since I'm not doing the most of the damage. I prefer to be able to get away from any damage fast, instead of just blocking a couple of extra attacks. But if you're going in a duel against a player, you probably want to walk around. This kick is pretty nice actually, because it knocks back the target. It kind of isolates the target and renders them unable to cast any spells. And as you can see, when a player joins, it actually says that Diablo's minions grow stronger. So for each player joining the game, the enemies get a little bit harder to kill. But they also drop better items. Or at least they have a higher percent chance of dropping the items. Okay, we got a couple of teammates.
I am overloaded.
Alright, we found the burial grounds.
Whose handiwork lies buried here? Impossible. What I kill stays dead. I can... Hello. Read. It is... The Order welcomes you.
Alright, so it seems one of the players at least have the waypoint, the last waypoint of this act. Means we can probably kill the boss and Daryl. It's good that it's a lightning source. Because myself, I used the fire damage so far. But if there's a fire immune, hopefully you can kill it with the lightning, or vice versa. And now when we are in hell difficulty, I can die pretty fast. But you also have to keep an eye out, because the items that can drop here can be some of the best in the game. And what I'm really looking for right now, or not really doing it right now, but what I will try to get my hands on is a weapon for my mercenary. And would like a 4-socketed ethereal polearm or spear weapon. This is not so good. To be able to make a rune word in it. And I'm mainly thinking about the insight rune word, which has mana regeneration aura. Alright, they're already at the boss. I still would like my corpse. I'll try to make a run for it. And then we'll just go with the portal. And this boss, Andariel, is somewhat popular to rerun and farm. As she has pretty good drops. So the goal basically now is to take our character to a state where she is strong enough to be able to, at least with a little bit of effort, farm different areas. And hopefully we can stay alive until the drops come. Oh. And let's see. She's not dead yet. She's just about to go down. Nothing special.
Death becomes you, Andariel.
I would like to take a look at the loot around as well, just to make sure I don't miss anything. And something that's very good to know is that when you find something in the hell difficulty, the items that you find, they will have a higher item level. I think this will be complicated to explain, but when we finished Act 5 in the different difficulties, we finished one quest that gave us the possibility to add sockets to an item. And the number of sockets that will appear in the item is actually dependent on the item level. And I'll run to my stash in a second to explain a little bit better. Let's say that we find probably don't have any of those now. Let's say that we find this armor here. It's a shark tooth armor, which is a nightmare quality, and let's say it has no sockets. And we go to Larsuk and add the sockets, and if this item level was above a certain specific level that I don't have in my head right now, it will get the maximum amount of sockets for that item. So if I found this in hell, it has no sockets, and I give it to Larsuk to add sockets, he will add the maximum amount possible for that item with that current item level. And that's a little bit complicated, but this gives us the possibility to add a different amount of open sockets to the items. This sword had some pretty cool mods. It's missing the increased attack speed. Had it had, say, 20, 30, 40% increased attack speed also, instead of that added lightning damage or added cold damage, it would be pretty good beginning a melee weapon. Let's see, we can slack a little bit. I actually found these battle axes. They are exactly the same, but okay, so they are exactly the same. So probably this item, it has no randomized stat. There's no attribute that is rolled for when it's identified. It will always have these attributes. And I'll keep one just for fun. Okay, so they're all waiting right now.
Who goes there?
Okay, so it's either running or joining a game.
How do I?
The traps are dealing pretty good damage, but the problem is that the enemies are not standing still. So a lot of it is just missing. Found a rune. And as you can see, it's pretty hard for me as of now. I'm dying a lot. And depending on what kind of goals I have, it's not super necessary for me to just continue and progress in the hell difficulty. I could try to just level up a little bit by myself, or either start farming at some area. And my goal is to be able to, with relative ease, clear certain bosses or areas, to be able to better my equipment over time. Okay, so one of the players has a waypoint. We'll use it. Since the sorceress had a bit of a memory loss. She was just in this game. As you can see, I'm very weak. It's actually a little bit frustrating. And I'm not really in a hurry to get to the later acts of hell difficulty. I would probably be better off just farming nightmare cows, or perhaps even ball runs in nightmare, because it will allow me to have a chance of getting some pretty good items while also gaining a few more level ups. It seems the others also have a little bit of a struggle here. But at least I got the waypoint, that's pretty cool. I think we'll... Okay, she's back. I still think it's a little bit too hard for me. I don't necessarily have to do it. Yeah, I'll call it a quit for that run, and instead we'll go back to... It's a nightmare game. Yeah, we can have the terrorized zones as well. We'll just finish off with a couple of boss runs, I think. Need some gold for the mercenary.
Good day.
And something that's very dependent on your character level is the gambling aspect. Can showcase that as well. Let's just go with some similar bosses. Up here, Eldritch, just above the Frigid Highlands waypoint, you will always find this boss. It's a unique. This is a little bit, probably a couple of levels higher than the actual area. So he has a pretty good chance of dropping good items. And the biggest part that is, he is always there. Each new game you create, he will be there. Same with Schenk. So just by going to that VP and a little bit up and a little bit down, we get 2 bosses, just like that. And when you've rescued Anya at the difficulty, you will also get a portal into Nilathak's temple. And here you will always find the boss Pindleskin. It's also higher level, so it has a chance of dropping good items. Most of the time nothing will drop, and the higher increased magic find you have, the better your chance of finding something magical or better. So that would be magical, rare, unique, set, etc. I don't think the rune drops are affected by the magic find. So each monster has a chance of dropping runes. And the higher the level, the higher the possibility of a good rune, or a high rune. Always just take a look at these items. And we can go for Travincal. These guys can be pretty tough. It's the council here. But they will always be here. So just a little bit away from the waypoint, you will always find this pack. They drop pretty good piles of money as well, because as you can see, it's just 4,000 gold from just one mob. And of course I have about 100 increased chance of, or 160 increased chance of getting increased gold. So just killing this off gives me quite a bit of gold actually.
I can't carry anymore.
And always try to bring something to sell as well.
Good to see you.
And let's do a cow run. A decent run as well would be to go into the Forgotten Tower. I was hoping it would spawn it close to the waypoint. So basically, when you farm an area or a boss, several bosses, it's good if you can find them quickly. So spend as little time as possible just, you know, roaming around, searching. And that's why it's also good to be a sorceress in the beginning, because you can always teleport. And here we have the tower. A little bit of information on these stands. I just activated the weapon stand here and gave me this trident. Thing about these stands is that they can actually drop any kind of item. I think it's dependent on the area level though, but in hell difficulty these have at least a chance of giving you, the really sought after items. Either, standard quality that you can add sockets to yourself,
I am overburdened.
And I think when we get down to level 5 now and kill the Countess, she will drop at least 1 or 2 runes. And if you're lucky,
I can't carry anymore.
you can get some really useful ones. And since it's the beginning of the ladder for me, I don't have a huge stash of runes. It's a pretty good idea to just start farming the Countess to start building up your rune inventory. And the attribute that increases gold from monsters is also increases the gold that will be found in stacks like this. And I'll also show you, before I turn off the stream, a little bit about the gambling, or how you can actually use the gold to increase your gear and character performance. Alright. Yeah, so she dropped 2 runes. Not 2 runes that are particularly hard to find. But with runes you can also combine them. So if you find a lot of the same rune, you can upgrade them. If you have, let's see, 3 of the Tal rune, you will need some kind of gem, and you can transmute it to become the next rune in the sequence. And I think that would be Ral. Tal has a required level of 17 and Ral has a required level of 19. Anyway, let's see. I want to do the cow as well. I can just talk a little bit about the gambling. So I withdrew some cash. And we'll head down here to Geed.
Good day.
And normally he's just a vendor. He will sell you some random magical items. I can also gamble here. And here you can buy unidentified items, so to say. And this is very dependent on your character level. Only, I think the very high level characters will be able to gamble the absolute best items. The same goes for crafting. But since I don't have any good amulets or rings, I'm gonna spend probably most of my money, a little bit of money, just to see if I can get lucky. And we'll go for the amulet, I think. That's almost all my money. So now we got 5 like random amulets. Alright, we got a rare one at first, so there's a small chance that the item is rare. It's gonna be magical most of the time. And another rare. A little bit lucky. 1 to sorcerer skills, 8 to life, 17 all resistance. It's a good starter amulet for sorcerers. not particularly good, but if you were to build like a gold find character, you could at least use this in the beginning. I'm not gonna bother. And the other ones we can just sell. Get a little bit of money back. And to help your gambling, there are some items in the game that can decrease the cost of purchasing items from vendors. One is a rune word in a bow that I somewhat prepared for to make. I got a 3-socket bow here. And the runes you need are Tyr, Tal and Amn. So Tyr, Tal and Amn. And Amn, that's one of the runes that we have put in the spirit rune words, so it's a pretty high demand rune in the beginning at least. You should probably keep it just to create your spirits and or any kind of mercenary weapon before we spend it on our gambling rune word bow. And we'll also open the cow level, just to demonstrate. So, if you've killed Bale in a difficulty, then you become, or you can enable the opening of the secret cow level. It's a bit of a weird area. Easter egg. And it's, at least for Trap Assassin, I think it's a good area to farm. I'm not sure what the actual highest drops available in Nightmare would be. But there's a chance of runes dropping, as always. And the mobs here are very packed together, so it's easy to get a big bunch of them at the same time, which is good for any kind of area of effect damage, like the corpse explosion trap. So one idea, just with the assassin, could be to just reach the possibility of opening cows in Nightmare and run these for a while. And yesterday I also managed to find this charm. It's a perfect roll. It's not the greatest attributes, but those that are on it are as high as they can be. A small charm like this can have 1 to 2 plus to strength. And if it has a single resist, that can have a maximum of 11. So it's perfect, but it's not so sought after, but it's a good use. Just 5 of these would increase your strength by 10 and resistance by 55. It's quite an increase. And Yeah, nothing special. And if you think it's a little bit too easy, you can always make the game public. That also increases your chance of getting any special drops. Or if you prefer, you can also just join a public game and start clearing in an area. I'm gonna try to find the Cow King and kill him. It's pretty much the boss in this area. And now you can see that it's pretty effective actually. You can just bunch them up together, kill a couple of them, and then get the Death Sentry to start working. Oh, there is the king actually. The Cow King. And I think there's actually a set. It's a reference to this boss. There's a Cow King set, which is 3 parts. I'm not sure if they can be found in any kind of area, but I know that he has a pretty big chance of dropping them. It might also be so that this is the guy that can only drop the Cow King. I'm not sure.
I can't carry anymore.
Getting a little bit full with items. But we got a few. That's pretty good.
I am overburdened.
We got the Saigon's belt. This means that we now have 3 in that set. And we'll just go take a quick look at what the new set part brings. So now we have 3 of the Seagons. And the total set bonuses gets an additional plus 100 defense. And the belt itself also get a boost in defense. This is excellent to have if you're starting a new character. Make leveling up so much easier. Now we have some gold again.
Good morning.
So this is the area where the Cow King spawns. At least it spawns close to it. Ooh. I saw that. Just found a new unique amulet. And the thing about the jewelry or the amulets and rings is that there are several unique rings and several unique amulets. So as of now, when it's unidentified, I have no chance of knowing what kind of amulet this is. I can, calculate depending on the monster level, area level, item level. Narrow it down a little bit. I probably know that this is not a Maras. I'm pretty sure it can't be a Metal Grid, which is the highest level unique amulet. But let's find out. The Eye of Etlish. Let's see if it varies anything. Yes. So the Eye of Etlish, it can vary in life stolen, defense versus missiles, light radius, and cold damage. It varies on pretty much everything. It's pretty low, but it gives 1 to all skills. Can't take that away from it. Can just clear a little bit more here. So basically, what I will be doing now for some time going forward is just trying to gain more levels, try to find more items, runes, etc. And continue to equip this character and the mercenary to make each run even simpler to do. And as I've already found some items and specifically found some items that I would like to have for an Amazon if I created one. I would probably also start to level up some new characters just to get to know them, learn the skills, see what they can do, try the equipment, experiment, start farming with them when they reach high levels. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can explain or showcase quickly right now. I don't think so. I think we've covered quite a lot in this video already. I've only gained 1 level, but I've died quite a few times. At least we also progressed into Act 2 of Hell. So the next time I start a stream, if I do it, I will probably be in Hell difficulty, farming in different acts, and hopefully I will be able to also equip my mercenary a little bit better. Since I'm not a tanky character myself, I'm very reliant on someone else just keeping the mobs busy. And for your mercenary, I highly recommend that you try to create some kind of polearm rune word for the Act 2 mercenary. The mercenaries that are hired in Act 2 come with an aura on them by default. And this aura will be applied to the mercenary, yourself, and any kind of summons like the Shadow Master. So it's a big boost just for having that aura active. And as I said a couple of times already, it's almost impossible to keep track of, you know, what can be valuable and what's good to keep and not. But to sum it up, all magical or higher items will get a number of attributes randomized, unless it's a set item or a unique item, because they will always have the same. Like this one. The rune words will vary in some attributes, and that's how you pretty much value the rune word overall. Some rune words will always be the same, like this one, will always have the same attributes. Uniques can also vary on some of the attributes. If you find a unique that is a perfect roll, meaning that it can have variables, but you get the high end or the best possible roll for those variables, that's a keeper always. There's always going to be someone who pays for it. And
hello.
Yeah, this javelins that I picked up, it has a very, very small chance of getting two different kind of attributes that we would like. The first one is a +3 to javelin and spear skills, which is an Amazon only attribute, and we would like it to have 40% increased attack speed. And onto that, we would also like this class specific item to get a 3+ to javelin and spear skills. So if I was incredibly lucky now, this javelin would have +6 to javelin and spear skills and 40 increased attack speed. And that actually makes this javelin one of the most valuable items in the game. But in pretty much all of the cases, it will only be like a random crap magic javelin. Yeah, so this one rolled only 4% mana leech. That's the only magical attribute I think from this. But as it is a class specific item, it also gets a chance of getting plus to skills. Looking at this normal Slayer Guard helmet, which is a barbarian only, it got a 1+ to increase speed. It could have been a maximum of 3. And the barbarian helmet, it can have a bonus to maximum of 3 separate skills. So it could have +1 to, say, bash and whirlwind also. And if we were really lucky, it would have +3 to 3 separate skills. And in best case, it would have +3 to the 3 best possible skills for a specific character build. Yeah. So there's many layers to this game. Alright, I think that's all for this evening. Hopefully I've been able to create either a new character or some cool items on this, or found them next time, and we will continue to explore the game Diablo 2.
Yes?
Yes?